What does Westside and the NOVA program mean to you?
The NOVA program for me is a second chance.
Every year, around 700,000 people return home from state detainment facilities in the U.S. Leaving prison can put a person in a tricky situation where there's a slim chance of successful reintegration. Over 10% of those coming through detainment and correctional facilities are homeless months before imprisonment and after.
For as housing, I'm still looking for housing. That is a real big issue, not just for the homeless, but for ex-cons coming out of prison. You know, that is a big issue, because if you don't work, then you really can't afford none of the living here in San Francisco. Right. Okay, I'm a full-time student. I go to San Francisco City College, you know, completing my AA, and it's a struggle, it's hard.
The problem is almost paradoxical. Since homelessness runs at a high rate amongst ex-felons, this means that they can't find a job. And if they can't find a job, the risk of going back to prison gets higher and higher.
If a person doesn't have the right support resources in place when they get out, the more of those that aren't in place, the greater the risk. So if they don't have a place to live, then if they don't have a safe place to live, if they can't find a job, and if they can't really get settled in a community that doesn't always want them to be settled, then I think that they are likely to reoffend and go back because they don't find a way to make it.
This cycle inevitably leads to higher risks for mental health issues, substance abuse, and reoffending. Other factors can also lead to this, such as the corporate stigma surrounding ex-felons.
Once you know that you have that jacket on, and sometimes if it's like police or even like jobs, you know, once you have that jacket on, you're judged, you know, like there's no way of that, oh, they have a felony.
The city of San Francisco has heavily decreased the rate of incarceration, which is now a third of the national rate. However, recidivism rates in San Francisco are at approximately 75%. So the problem isn't really being solved. What's the root of it?
The system inside society wants to see people punished that went to prison. But society seems to have no concept about when the punishment is over. In other words, if I committed a crime that requires 10 years, if I have done 15 and I'm out, shouldn't that be over? The law prescribed 10, I did 15. I'm making an example. There are people that had a 7-year to life sentence and they went in the 60s. They still in there. They still there.
In the context of San Francisco, where reintegration programs are lacking, Westside Community helped combat the issue of ex-felon homelessness and reoffending through reintegration programs via psychological, substance abuse control, and financial treatments, specifically through the NOVA program.
No Violence Alliance, and it was originally started for people who were violent offenders, because most violent offenders didn't have access to treatment programs. But now NOVA's expanded to everybody that's incarcerated in San Francisco County jails. So what NOVA provides is intensive case management that starts inside of the jail in custody, where you talk to people about getting to know them, building a rapport with them, and seeing what their goals are upon release, and having a conversation with them upon the day of release, because the day of release is the most important day, because no matter what a person talks about or accomplishes while in custody, something about hitting that fresh air changes everything.
Right.
So what we do is we meet with the person when they're getting released, and whatever it is they need to do or take care of, we take them to do it. Another thing we offer is housing, transitional housing, and they don't even have to pay any rent on the housing. All they ask them to do is just get their life together, get on their feet, ask them to save their money also. And in that housing, you're also on the Westside point of view, is that you have to attend mandatory 3 groups a week, thinking for a change group classes, seeking safety, substance abuse classes, anger management classes. We have all those involved.
At the end of the day, the issues pertaining to ex-felon homelessness continue to plague the city of San Francisco. However, programs like NOVA continue to lead by example in how ex-felon reintegration should be done.